My friends, come on. I'm not going to take back my XFX 7900 XTX and trade it for a Sapphire or trade it for a Red Devil or anything like that. This is the first GPU that I've had any kind of problems with, period. And that goes for all of the NVIDIA cards. Not one of those had any kind of problems. They all ran perfectly. This is the first time that I bought a card that had a problem with it, and it just happens to be an XFX. I'm not going to go through all the hassle of taking it back and getting a different card. That just kind of, next time I won't buy an XFX. I will just buy another card. I've had really good luck with FXX out of 3 out of 4 cards. If you look at all the NVIDIA cards that I bought, one of them was an MSI, 2 of them were a Gigabyte, 1 of them was in a pre-built. So that there, I mean, this is 3 out of 4, or 1 out of well, 5. Technically it's 5 because now I got a replacement. So 1 out of 5 was defective, whereas the other cards that I bought weren't even from the same manufacturer. So it's kind of hard to like really put like a number on it. Does that mean that all of a sudden I don't like FXX anymore? No, it just means that, like, man, I got a defective card. That kind of sucked. But let me explain this. I put the card in. I plugged it in. It worked. It ran. It did everything. I played games on it. I literally used it for a couple of weeks, but that red light just kind of kept bugging me. And I was like reading a forum, and people were talking about how they plugged in a daisy chain and it went away, or they switched out, or they switched out like DisplayPort cables and stuff like that. So first of all, I checked all my DisplayPort cables. None of those were the thing. I literally took it down to just one with just my monitor and tried, you know, all of my different DisplayPorts on that. None of that, you know, was able to turn off that light. So I did the daisy chain thing. The daisy chain thing worked, but I only had that in there like overnight like that. I made that video the next day when I was, you know, at the family reunion or whatever. And then the very next day I came home, or when we were home, and I woke up the next morning and I touched that, and I went to touch the wire, and the red light came back on. And then when I would play around with it a little bit, you know, like kind of move that, it would kept making that thing. So I just decided, look, I'm just gonna switch it out. I got on the phone with Amazon. They sent me another one out that day. After the new one came, I installed that, took the other one, took it back over to Kohl's. It wasn't even that big of a deal. Like it really wasn't that big of a deal. They literally drove it back to my door. So I don't think FXX makes bad cards. Like that was the first one that I had any problems with whatsoever. And something like a solder joint like that on the power, like it is what it is. Like that kind of stuff happens. I probably could have just pulled the cover off and like resoldered it myself, and it would have been just fine. It would have been just fine. Like I've done that multiple times, but I figured, man, I paid $1,000 for this GPU. I'm gonna send it back and I'm gonna get a brand new one shipped me, because it ain't my problem. It's not my problem to deal with that. That's XFX's problem. They can get their card back and then they can fix it and do whatever with it. So I'm not gonna rip this card out, go through the whole freaking return process to get another card and wait for a Sapphire. No, but I'll tell you what I will do. Like I was saying, the next time, you know, like next generation, when the new cards come out, I'll try a different brand. I tried XFX this whole generation for all of my AMD cards. My 7600 XT was XFX. My 7800 XT my 7800 XT was XFX. 7900 XT XFX, and now the 7900 XTX. I'm okay with that. Like I've tried almost all of the cards in the stack for AMD with XFX. That was the first one I had a problem with. Next time we'll try Sapphire. I'll get a Sapphire, or because I'm definitely not going to buy like a Red Devil, but I will definitely buy like the Sapphire, or, you know, maybe even the MSI or whatever. It doesn't matter. Like I will try a different brand next time when it comes to buying these cards. But as it sits right now, guys, I greatly appreciate, you know, the suggestions and all of that stuff, but no, guys, I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna use it, and I'm gonna continue to use it. Like I'm not having any issues with this new one, so I'm not, like, it's not even that big of a deal to me. And I kind of feel like the PC community does that type of thing. Like if you have an issue with a brand or something, I kind of just feel like everybody just, because there's so many different competing brands out there and AIBs and all of that stuff, motherboards, everything. I feel like when one person has a problem, it just gets amplified all over the place. And then it just puts so much worry into everybody. So I'm gonna hang on to the XFX brand. Like I'm okay with them. Like I have zero issues. I did have an issue. They rectified it just like that the same day. I really wasn't out anything. Like I was literally doing reviews and playing on all the other stuff that was sent to me. So I didn't even skip a beat. Like seriously, it didn't even skip a beat. I got the new card, I put it in. Like I don't feel negative about XFX. I just don't. And I feel like people, you know, the only thing that I want people to know is like, look, if you buy an XFX card and it has a red light on it, just swap it out and get a new one. Just immediately swap it out. Don't even worry about any of the display ports or any of that stuff. Just swap the card out. Just send it back, get a new one, and be on your merry way. There's no reason for you to take a chance long term, especially when it's something that has to do with power delivery. Just swap the card out. If it still has a red light when you bring it back, then maybe check. Like, see, I don't know. I don't think the display port stuff is gonna matter because it was still. I mean, like I had everything unplugged from it and it still had a red freaking light. So I don't know, guys. I don't know. It's one of those things where like, if you're feeling unsure about something, just RMA it. Don't even take the chance. These GPUs cost way too much money. There's no reason for you to like, especially if you get a good deal. Like I got a good deal on this card, $869, came out to like $933. Why would I spend almost $1,200 for a Sapphire when I literally got this card for $900 and it's essentially the exact same card. It's just, yeah, the other one's got better cooling. Do you guys really think I'm gonna have that GPU in my PC longer than a year or two? I mean, seriously, if this thing can't last like a year or two until I upgrade or buy a new card for the channel, I don't know. I don't know. I think it should at least be able to do that. It's got that long of a warranty. You know, if something goes wrong with it, I can always send it out, get a new one, and then, you know, be on my merry way. But I don't know, guys. The PC space is such a freaking, I don't know about you guys sometimes. Like, I don't know. Like, I get it, you know. I mean, we can all get spooked pretty easily. But, I mean, if you really think about it, if you stop and think about it, I mean, it is a big deal. Like, it really is. But at the end of the day, you're still going to get your card. You're still going to get, you know, what you paid for. No matter how many times you have to RMA it. Like, I get it. I get it. You probably don't want to have to deal with that. Trust me, if I'd sent that out, got another one, and it did the same thing, then I would have been like, all right, no, we're just moving to another brand. We're not even going to play around with this. You know, and then if the other brand did the same thing, then I'd be like, maybe I'm just going to get that 4080 again. You know what I mean? Like, it's not that big of a deal, guys. It's really not that big of a deal. XFX has been fine for me since the 7900 XT. Since I got it, I love it. Like, I don't have a problem with it. It's perfectly fine. So if you guys like this content, do not forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one, and we'll still have the XFX 7900 XTX in the PC.